All right, you guys, back. Today we are talking about, what are we talking about? We are talking about changing our expressions, wanting to know who you are and who your actions say you are. So I think some of us believe that we are one way, but when you look at our actions, we may not be. So with that being said, it affects our relationships with our friends, our family, I say our family, but I mean closer than that, in our home. When arguing with your spouse, we all get into arguments. When arguing with your kids, your members of church, your library, community, those around you, we always have a choice as to how we're going to respond. Maybe the way you respond isn't working for you. And I just ask that you try something different. So if normally you start screaming when somebody says something you don't like, which I definitely do, or did a lot. I'm single, so I don't really have anybody to argue with, and I'm in menopause, so I don't argue much. But when somebody says something you don't like, if you normally would quickly respond, try not. Try listening to them and just see how that works. It's not about the other person, it's about you. And I'm wanting to see, if we do this, how much happier we'll be as a person, day to day. Sometimes we think we have to respond because we need to prove something. You don't have to prove anything. You need to prove your point. Do you? Does it really matter that much? Or you're really just going to go home or wherever you're going to do and pretty much do the same thing anyway. So arguing these points, and it's not always the best. Arguing, if you normally, unless you know how to argue, maybe you're good at it. Maybe you have tact, you can do it with love and not be a bitch. Maybe you can do it in a way that everybody can leave the conversation feeling good. And then I would call it a discussion as opposed to an argument. But if that's your method and it normally leads to something that you leave the conversation feeling unhappy, or even if you won and you still don't feel good inside because of some of the ways that the conversation went, things that are said during the heated debate, maybe an email. Maybe an email. I know with my personal life, I like to dig into my personal stuff. I use that as a way to just be transparent and let you see, I'm no better. I'm no better. Yeah, I'm no better. I do the same thing as everybody else. I just try to minimize the amount of times that I handle it the same way if it's not getting me any good results. So maybe an email. Me personally, right now, that's where I am with individuals, specific individuals. I have had to step back and say that my way of communicating with you does not work. Those that you guys are wondering, I am talking about my ex-husband. Yep. Baby, you know I'm talking about you. Love you to death. I really do. There was a suggestion. It was a suggestion that was made to him. And to be honest with you, I thought, what? Talk to people all day. I help people all day. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's my thing. I teach people how to communicate and love. And I realized, yeah, I might need to try that. And so far, so good. I like it. The communication is concise, clear, direct, balanced, and a much better way for me to live my day-to-day. Does that work with everybody? No. Some people don't read emails. Some people, that's the last way. And honestly, with an email would have been the last way I would have communicated with my spouse or ex-spouse, or even an ex-boyfriend, whoever, or ex-girlfriend, depending on who you're with. I always say ex-boyfriend, but I was just saying me specifically. But y'all know me. I can date whoever the hell I want to. So anyway, so whomever it is, it has been working for me to do it that way. So with you, I ask that maybe you send a card. You know, you bump heads with that person. Instead of calling them on the phone, if you normally do, and usually the conversation can, if you know this, can go to a place that leaves you not feeling good, but them feeling better. Maybe just, or vice versa. You can just send a card expressing how you feel. Sometimes just the card saying, I love you, might be enough. You don't necessarily need to change your opinion. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to change your method of communicating, the tool that you're using to communicate. Sometimes we respond too soon. So sometimes the tool that we need is actually time. Ooh, that's a tricky one, especially for me because I like things done quick, right quick. I mean, I want them done now. Even with answers, that's not good. The first answer somebody comes up with, because you're pressuring them to give you a response, might not be what you want. It may not be the truth. It may not be their truth. It may not be what they want to do. They just agreed just because you kept putting pressure. So you have to think about that. I think that might be it. Yeah. That's it. Just make sure that you try a different method. If you come up with a different method you think is great, shoot it down there so everybody else can share it, use it in order to help them become better. They can take your tips and apply them to their situations with their children. Maybe every time they see their kid, the first thing they say is, did you brush your teeth? I used to do that. How about hello? Communication is so important. Most of the people that I see, communication is the problem. We don't communicate properly. And we have to work on that. We have to find other ways that work for us. Try different stuff. Don't say because your parents were doing it, that's how you communicate. Who the hell said your parents were right? You mean because this person decided to, mask all their feelings? That's not how people communicate. That's not how they should. And if they do, they usually lead to unhappiness for them. So I'm asking you and me to make sure that we try other methods. This month, I will be trying the power of the good old Gmail email account. But with you, let me know your ways, or not even your ways, but how it's working for you. If you notice any change in just something so simple as changing the method or mode that you're communicating with. So, until next time, I hope that someone out there uses that tip and brings more love and closeness between them and those around them. Love you.